if it's not available again.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Who knows?
So
maybe they don't ban it, right?
For the 30th time in the
30th
CSQs.
and final champion select.
In fact, it's not 30. I think it's... No, it is. It's 5 times 6.
Yeah. Got it.
I thought 6 days. I was like, nope, I'm easy maths.
5 days, 6 games.
This is what happens.
Our final champion select, Azir and Lucian taken off the table. Victor as well. Lucian, one of the picks we did not talk about quite as much, but has been the frequent ban, and so far we're on point with our predictions. Lissandra, though, I would say almost out of left field here. Megafelix, of course, has shown us good performances on it, but this is a ban that's been, I feel like, on and off throughout the course of the tournament.
I like it because K1ck struggled yesterday against team fighting, and now you've just taken out one of the biggest engaged champions when you look at a mid laner especially. There's so much potency for team fighting from a Lissandra flank to set up that, you know, there's a lot of good options. Nearly banned away. That's got to scream first pick Kindred.
Definitely, and I'm wondering if K1ck are going to use their final ban here. I mean, what else do they take away? There's Rise, there's the Trundle.
Yeah.
I don't know if Echo is still ban-worthy, although we have seen some really good performances today.
So they ban Haddo's Bud. So what this does is now give Rise over to K1ck, should they want it.
Yeah.
They could also take the Trundle if they wanted it. Rise Braum would be another combination here of first picks that we would normally expect.
I think additionally, of course, no surprises. If you're just joining us, Obvious once again going to get his hands on that Kindred. He has been blowing us away with some of those performances. Stunning. But an almost immediate lock-in from K1ck here. They took the Bard off the table. They immediately make sure that they can secure the Trundle as well as the Sivir. So really strong cores to a team comp here already.
So Lucian not available. Just go flex the Trundle, pick up the Sivir, one of the other AD carries that really has prominence. Also allows K1ck to kind of choose when to engage.
I like the way they adapted here, not putting priority on a jungle pick. Know that because Kindred's already locked in on the obvious side, they can really take their time, see what the comp needs. You know, maybe Graves if they want more damage. Maybe that Elise coming out. We saw obviously what it can do when it gets ahead in our previous game.
That will remain to be seen as we are waiting on 2 picks from ESG. So what are they going to look for? Will they look for support here for Haddo? He's tried the Alistair a couple of times. Won't have access to his Bard. He could. Oh.
So
the
is going to get locked in. The silly lights tricking when you're like, oh, Karma got locked in. I'm like, what? No. Well, we can't talk about hoverovers. That's wrong. No, but of course, Ezreal and Karma going to be the lock-ins. We have to assume Karma's gone, I believe, both support and mid in this tournament. So still another flex pick, and Ezreal, of course, in the hands of Cedrion. No stranger to that pick. It's been around for all of competitive League of Legends. Always showing its face once again.
Always, always, always. So now it's on K1ck. They've got to show a solo laner at least. Will they go for like the Victor, which we've seen? I would normally say blind pick. There is the potential for Karma to be made here. Victor into Karma is okay. Victor doesn't have too many very bad matchups in the current setting. The hover over the Vlad just
I got excited. And then there was a
tip of the
vibe.
hat.
And then there's an Evelynn. I'm like, all right, clearly these are not serious picks. I said, looking at the camera, really hoping that they would lock them in. Like, let's do it. I don't know what that comp is, but I want to see it. Of course, waiting on these final picks, but already some strong poke elements coming out from the side of Euronics, it feels like. And Obvious getting his hands on this jungler, I think, is still the biggest story here.
Ooh. Oh. Wow, okay. They skip over the Elise and go for the team fighter.
Yep, Gragas, like once again, one of the picks that has become more popular on 6-10. However, I feel like it's been in and out of popularity. At the start of the tournament, it was insanely strong, used in a lot of games, and now it kind of fell off when people remember Kindred and really were strong, and now it's back again here in our final match.
And in this setup, now the K1ck were like, well, you beat us with team fight yesterday. Let's get team fight. So they've gone for the Gragas, they've gone for the Sivir, Trundle from the top lane as well. Gives them a little bit of access to split push if they want it. Dual potential. So it means we're waiting on mid lane for K1ck still, which once this Karma gets locked in, or at least locked down, whether it's mid lane, whether it's support, we will have the answer to that question. Still looking for top lane as well.
Yeah, and we have to remember low priority, of course, did bust out that Karma and managed to pull a win out with it in the mid lane. To wait to see those final pick locks in. So it has seen some success here, although it's been back and forth. That is going to be the Gnar going over to the top lane. Alistair for support, and that means that Megafelix will be taking that Karma into the mid lane. Looking at the team comp build here from ESG, do they just want to go toe-to-toe with K1ck?
Looks like it. Victor probably going to be the lock-in here for K1ck when you look at what is remaining. Rise is available should they want it, but I think Victor probably just suits what they're trying to do a little bit more. at least when it comes to flexibility. So for ESG, they've got the Gnar, they've got the Alistair for the engage combo, you've got the Karma for the discount budget Sivir ultimate, where you just like mantra the Defiance,
the mantra,
run
the
at
Inspire.
people. Yeah, you just run at people as a team.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the designer of Karma, who made sure that the Inspired or the Mantra abilities have different names. That does not make my life difficult.
No, not at all. I'm like, yeah, the mantra E, and people are like, is E the shield or the...
Yeah. Shield, speed up. I think it's called Defiance when it's Mantra. We'll learn in the game.
Defiance or Inspire. It's one of the two.
Inspire is the base, and I think Defiance is the Mantra. But while we're focusing on semantics of ability names, LeBlanc is going to be locked in for Chico in the mid lane. Zico, Chico.
Chico.
I know. He's
You're going to get a lot of tweets.
I know. He's trying. I feel bad for the guy because he told us in Champ Select, and clearly we can't read when you're being sarcastic in Champ Select. He's like, no, guys, Zico's great. I love it when people call me the wrong name. So clearly Chico. We figured it out.
All right,
now we've learned.
Every time you call him Zico, I'm going to call you Chepa.
Chico in the mid lane has LeBlanc. Interestingly, going for TP. Yeah.
You can thank me, Kick fans. I fixed Sifa saying Chico.
Oh, man.
So what
Look
the
at
LeBlanc
you, so proactive. Let's talk about the teams.
So what LeBlanc is going to offer them is obviously that assassination potential, a little bit of early game damage. Does make it slightly difficult now if ESG prolong this game particularly long, as apart from the Sivir getting like that massive crit through a team fight, not a whole lot of late game, but good team fighting on the side of Kick.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can see the comps once again on your screen, and this is a lot of team fighting power from Kick. They've got so many engage tools. I mean, Gragas, Trundle, Braum, all really solid for starting those fights already, and when you back them up with the power of that Sivir, it's just pretty overwhelming to deal with.
Yeah, on the other side, though, we do have a fair amount in response when you look at the Alistair, you got the Kindred, you got Gnar and Mega Gnar as well. Just depends whether you can get the right timing on the TPs. But it's the last game of the group stage.
Last game indeed. Euronics Gaming on the blue side. Kick Esports Club on the red. Germany versus Portugal. Gonna be pretty hype. I think a lot of pressure on both these teams. I blanked. I'm gonna be honest.
I was gonna say, as an American,
Germany.
I'm impressed that you got that. I'm like,
I definitely blanked. I was like, P country. P. Which country starts with P? And
Peru?
No. Oh my gosh. I wasn't that bad. I wasn't gonna say the wrong one. I'm apologize.
I'm so glad
to the Portuguese fans. We're getting it as we go. But of course, we'll focus back in on the game. My blunders, not really the key to what's going to happen here.
I don't know
this
about
is
that.
the deciding match here. We have to remember, if Kick win this, they are first at 4-1.
Yeah. We did make a little bit of a faux pas walking you through the so-complicated tiebreaker scenarios, but the easy one is if Kick win 4-1 is their scoreline.
Bottom line, Kick win, they're in. ESG win, then they are in. We will explain the details further in as when we get out of game, but due to tiebreakers, due to the way the standings have worked out, this is pretty much the decider for who will make it out of this group. First and second seed, a little more complicated. But once again, we'll tell you later. We'll explain it later. Understand that everything is on the line here for both these teams because it really is do or die for both these lineups.
Wards have spotted out the standard lanes, and Cedrian gets the first autos on, desperately trying to get some sense of a push, but in comes Sivir and is going to ricochet the wave, and it's just like, oh, how cute. You tried to get a push on.
And it feels like this lane's going to be a little bit tough for Hadao in this level 1, although Ezreal and Alistair are actually doing a pretty good job to push in. You can see Rux just standing on that creep wave, though. If Alistair wants to move forward and proc those stacks, he is going to have to take some stacks of concussive blows.
And that's the frustration of the Sivir and having the Braum alongside her as well to just hit down those low creeps. She just ricochets and does all of the damage to the minions and evens up everything Cedrian was trying to do in that bottom lane. So we'll see how the actual 2v2 ends up going. Level 2 does go to Cedrian in the end of all things anyway. So looking to continue a little bit of dominance down there.
Great place to be. You can see the trading of blows back and forth in the mid lane. But bot lane and top lane are pushing out in the favor of ESG. Gnar, no surprises. When he's in that mini Gnar, he's just so hard to deal with. Throwing out those boomerangs in bot lane. Ezreal and Alistair got the momentum with that level 2, putting it to good use, but no major implications quite yet.
So, first Drake is going to be Ocean. No clouds. No cloud, then Ocean. Just Ocean.
Just Ocean.
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's Is this the 11th? That would have been great if you actually tracked.
If I tracked how many
it.
oceans.
Honestly, the amount of oceans are probably equivalent. At this point, how many sequels they've made for that movie, I feel like even if we're on Ocean's 18, I wouldn't be surprised if that movie gets made in the future.
I mean, you've got to think. Oh, there's Seal Away. If you include 18 people in a heist, there's a lot of weak links in there.
I mean, like, that's the biggest weakness to security, right? Is
Yeah,
people.
I know,
Like,
right?
someone's going to be like, yeah,
Human error.
I'll turn you into the FBI for money.
Remind me never to operate a heist with you, Senpai, I guess.
Yeah, we would just gotta
Either
hope for
that
the
or
best
just
here.
do that first. I'll sell you out first.
Yeah, clearly we've developed an interesting bond here, and that we know we'll never do a heist because neither one of us can trust the other. It's good. It's a good, solid start to the caster synergy here. Of course, things still relatively calm on the map as we focus back in. You can see everything just about balanced out. Mark on the top side for Kindred. She's not there quite yet, and Gragas already moving to take it away. So obvious not going to get a fat early advantage. Although Felix, nice lockdown there. Minions though making sure to block any follow-up.
I like it. This matchup, the Karma into the LeBlanc. Every time LeBlanc Ws you, you shield yourself, hit the chains, and just kind of close the distance between yourself and the distortion pad. We'll see whether that evolves.
Yeah, the chase
throughout this.
going down a little bit slow. Obvious jumping back in. Gonna get a lot of damage down. Doesn't have the strength to follow up.
And this is one of the issues with Gragas in the early game. Pre-6, ooh, double knockup, doesn't really matter. Pre-6, and to be honest, just early throughout the game, struggles in any kind of duels in the jungle. Does not want to get found by the enemy jungler, and you can see the damage that Obvious was just able to put down on the chase and chase him out of the jungle himself. Cedrian stepped
taking
forward.
so much. He's going to get stunned up. Great headbutt pull response coming in from Hadao, but the Boomerang Blade's still going to find home. Hit up those picks. The pressure is actually surprisingly still in the favor of Ezreal, and this is exactly where they want to be. You can see Obvious stealing away some jungle, but Cedrian's trading his life for pressure here. Mana given back to K1ck.
A gift. Oh, the top lane now.
Clear the waves a little better.
Has the advantage while Minina up against the Trundle. If we see the Rift Herald get given over this, we saw time and time again, day 1 and day 2, Gnar just dominates that matchup.
Yep, gets very disastrous very quickly, and you can already see that Gnar has a lead. Actually, all of the lanes here
for
have
ESG.
Leads for ESG. They're doing incredibly well in this early game. I mean, no surprises from the Karma. This is what you expect as Felix fearlessly runs in there.
Yep.
Is he going to try to do it again?
Well, he's delayed the recall, so much so that Felix was able to recall, teleport back into lane. Unfortunately, I think TP's just going to come back out from Shiko, even onto the cannon minions, so holds it and is able to at least absorb some of this experience, even if he doesn't get the CS. Shiko does manage to get the cannon minion off that. So
yeah, but look at the CS differential here in the mid lane already, 55 to 38. This Karma, now with the Catalyst as well, is just, it's so easy for her to just keep trading.
Yeah, it really is, and you know, Shiko doesn't really have kill pressure on the Karma. Once that mantra now is up, Felix can just pop the W with a mantra if you choose to, and then basically
Heal
get
right
25% of the health back. And it's just like, oh, okay, I actually can't just burn you.
Yeah, not quite what you want to be doing there in that exchange, and of course,
Shiko's also not taking Ignite, so no real kill pressure anyway.
Yeah, this is a really odd... This isn't something we got to move over as much in Champion Select, but how do you think this really affects the map play? It doesn't feel like he's going to be able to do much of anything in terms of 1v1.
Yeah, 1v1, I mean, LeBlanc's still relying on just hitting a full combo and somehow hoping that it's enough to burst through the shields and the healing that Karma has. Obviously, though, you're never really going to have kill pressure on the Karma in this lane. It's a very difficult one, so Shiko's just saying, okay, well, I'm just going to have impact on the rest of the map, try and TP in for an exchange, maybe look at a 5-man gank and get down there, get himself into the mix and pick up kills that way. Still not optimal for the lane, but playing for the team.
Yep. I think overall, probably the choice that K1ck need to make. They're playing against another strong team-based composition. Want to make sure Shiko is comfortable in this mid lane, and he's still dishing out tons of damage here, despite all the early harass from Felix. So, despite the CS differential, still feeling comfortable. Raw power of LeBlanc, and minor CS differentials across the map. Almost a 1K lead as we see another great headbutt pull. Rux, though, no hesitation to burn that Unbreakable, and things considering to be very even on the map. Ocean Drake, we've seen it be more of a priority, but neither team's really wanting to give up any kind of lane advantage or having any kind of lane advantage to take this.
Yeah, bottom lane, has been engaging a lot, just trying to chunk him down. I'm actually a little more impressed now with Hado than I have been in the early days of the CS qualifiers. So I've known Hado quite a while, looking at his performances in the UK. He's a UK player. Generally hadn't made waves within Europe, hadn't really branched out onto a European team. But he started to find his feet with Cedrian somewhat. But his top lane, we are going to have a little bit of a trade. So, oh, another double knockup.
Looking for the ult. Oh, great block coming out from Rux. That's exactly what you want from your Brahmin. Pressure now in the favor of K1ck. Not going to move in for that last auto attack. Not going to get the bounce over to Hado, but looks like bot lane finally starting to shift in the favor of Sivir, and you can look at those items and see exactly why.
You can. The sad part, well, not the sad, but the difficult part now is the lack of sustain in that lane. Shiko locked down.
Ooh, that is a lot of damage, hitting both halves of the Soul Flare there. Mantra Q, all of Karma's damage, but man, it does some work.
Yeah, it does do a lot of work. And yeah, the problem is no pots on the side, whereas you got the heal coming from Hado. Means that Sivir can exert a lot of pressure, a lot of damage down, but if they trade too heavily, and Cedrian gets the Qs hitting, gets a lot of damage, then K1ck has to be careful in that. Still summoners available, so honestly I'm not expecting a kill anytime too soon coming out, because ESG aren't going to want to straight up fight all that much. You saw what happened the last time, Ezreal just kind of got blocked.
Yeah, but you got to think, Ezreal must feel pretty content to farm here. He's got the tier, he's slowly stacking it up. It's not the Trinity Force Ezreal this time around. He's just going to take the passive route, wait to get those stacks, wait to move forward. And Obvious actually already with 2 stacks from the Mark of the Kindred, so he's not quite as fast as he has been in some of those other games, but doing pretty well here to keep up, and that scaling damage going to pay off dividends as we move further in. Yeah,
not as fast as our 4-stack Kindred by 8 minutes earlier.
Ugh.
That was insane.
Oh my gosh, that damage.
Oh, that was disgusting.
How do you have 5% of your current health? Here's a free Blade of the Rune King. You know, just take it. Just have the free Blade of the Rune King damage.
Oh, Cedrian, there's the trade onto him. It's the added damage that Sivir is going to have if they take just that straight-up trade where K1ck was untouched. Really nice trade in favor of K1ck.
Now overall, works out pretty well. Just trades, though. Nothing quite committed yet. LeBlanc in and out. Doesn't want to stick onto Felix whatsoever. Rod of Ages now completed for the Karma, so is going to get that scaling up benefit. Packs stop once again. This is the story of Euronics as a team. They're just committed to stopping these backs.
Yeah, that's all they want to do. They'll feel like they've won the game if they stop the backs.
And
that's
we
not
have to look.
Win, but
I mean, this may be the first big showing of aggression here as Phones is gearing up with this Mega Gnar, but maybe Obvious just backs out because they've got the Rod of Ages.
Yep.
They've got the scaling tier on Ezreal. It looks like they're just content to wait.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they truly are content to wait. I mean, we know that LeBlanc, without snowballing pretty hard, is going to become ineffective the later this game goes. LeBlanc, however, is building towards the Morellonomicon. Typically, we will see Morellos and Abyssal Scepter coming out onto LeBlanc in one combination or the other. Sometimes it's the other way around. Will cut through some of the healing that is going to come out from the Karma, so maybe we'll see the ability for Shiko to duel Felix, take him out, but that's something we're going to have to watch as this game continues.
And it's kind of a nice interaction, right? Because the lower health Karma is, the more health she's going to get back, but if she gets too low on the health bar, the healing's going to get cut in half. So that seems like just excellent itemization for LeBlanc in the end. And I mean, despite the fact that that snare can be pretty devastating, looks like it may work out. A little bit of aggression coming in. Maybe now a focus just onto the Scuttle Crab so far, but maybe going to move into that Cloud Drake. Of course, that is going to be Obvious's 3rd stack. So 3.75% max, or current health damage, rather, moving forward.
For ESG, you look at this game and you're like, this is, you know, one where they just have to play a bit of a waiting game. Unless they can get the Rift Herald onto Phones. They're still waiting on Cedrian. Felix is just doing a decent job right now. But whenever I look at a Karma, apart from perhaps GBMs, I never really look at it and think, well, this is just going to carry the game. Yeah. If that makes sense. It's way more of that utility pick.
Well, sneaky Obvious here is going to move over to take that Ocean Drake. First one of the game. Moving in, we'll see that mark change in just a second. Mountain Drake next on the way. Felix actually has to burn Flash to make it to safety. No mobility spells on that Karma, but you're right. The nice thing I feel like, however, is that Karma does, kind of like Lulu, transition into that supportive role. We see K1ck, of course, pushing in here, throwing down some vision. They know they've given up the Dragon, but they want to make sure they get something back in return. Right now, it's just going to be these Raptors.
Apart from GBM's Karma, somehow has just like more damage. Speaking of more damage, Gnar into Trundle. Gnar, more damage in mini.
Yeah, and it's got to hurt for Trundle, right? You got the armor shred already completed up for the Gnar here. That small CS advantage really paying off. And Trundle is making moves. He's working on that completed Tiamat item.
Oh, that's painful. Oh, K1ck's like, I've dodged it. No, I haven't dodged it. I need Spell Shield. Ah, damn.
Oh, is this the dive coming in? Oh my gosh, Trucklax.
I mean, this damage is so difficult to deal with because so Gnar just dominates the versus melee matchup when you're in mini Gnar. Then you get a Black Cleaver on top of it. And it basically means that you just never go into Mega Gnar to trade with the Trundle. Every time you're building up Rage, you back away. You just chip him down and then take yourself the Rift Herald. And the next time that trade happens, the Rift Herald is going to give you the extra damage to pretty much make that kill.
And I gotta say, this is really, really good play coming from ESG. They're not making any over-aggressive moves. They're taking small advantages and they're turning them into something much greater. Right at first, it was Dragon. They snuck that one out. But now they use the power of Gnar to get a greater advantage for the Gnar once again in the top side. And this is starting to snowball already, and we can only imagine how hard it's going to be. You said it's the difference between getting that kill and not getting that kill in that exchange we just saw. And this could be ESG's chance to put themselves on the map. They don't have a gold lead quite yet, but all the buffs are going in their favor.
And you know, I was speaking to a lot of people, coaches, analysts, other casters for different regions, that kind of thing, about where we place the expected priority on different objectives. And the one thing that a lot of people were saying was that like Rift Herald coming into it without seeing games was like, I don't think it's going to be that strong. I think it's going to be really low priority. It'll be like Cloud Drake will be lowest, then Rift Herald. Turns out if you're playing with like a Gnar, if you have a top laner, like most of them can do, that want to duel, to play that and get the Rift Herald, it really, really increases the ability to just dominate that matchup straight up. It's a 20-minute buff, and you get the damage reduction plus the added damage once it stacks up. Problem is, in this scenario, we've had a lane swap out of K1ck, which is very nice to invert this, slow down the Gnar. Now they get top turret.
An adaptation from them coming in. They knew that the Gnar would move to fight that lane, but now it looks like aggression in the mid lane. K1ck getting burned down here. Oh, that's going to be enough damage. First blood hops on over to Obvious as some more action happens on the top side. Tower still drops in favor of K1ck, but the gold is in favor of ESG.
Hado got blasted away. There could have been better out of K1ck. And you know, we talked about how K1ck was struggling against the team fight and composition. Well, K1ck right now are just struggling in the laning phase in today's game. They are really getting shut down pretty hard. Hado, however, has to be careful.
In trouble, does not have the ultimate anymore. Gragas looking to chase. Hado trying to knock him back. Headbutt says nope. Marauder Alistair making his way out.
Well, Ezreal's pushing up topside. It does have enough vision to spot that Gragas out, but it's bottom side. Mega Gnar got popped, so Phones is just going to push up ever so slightly. He's going to be mini Gnar once again. Will allow him to take down that turret.
He's going to start hitting it. You can see the corruption stacks procced. Obvious just moving to get more stacks. He's at 3. He wants 4. 5%. Coming out on that current health damage as he hits 4 stacks. And I just wanted to, you talked about the vision briefly, and you can see how committed K1ck were on the top side, whereas I feel like ESG, they're pretty spread across the map.
Yeah, just throughout the river as well. So ESG basically have that halfway point of the map all spotted out for themselves. I like what K1ck did, though, is trying to slow down the Gnar, try and punish a little bit of the Rift Herald, because he had to back away. Problem is, now they've ended up in a situation where the Gnar and the Trundle are against each other. The Phones has to back away as he pops Mega Gnar, doesn't want to give over the added resistances and force a trade. But it's ESG now with a move of their own into the mid lane, got half of the turret health back away, and basically reset the same thing because you know bot lane is going your way.
Ooh, Trucklax taking a lot of damage. Obvious hungry for blood. Actually, the Ezreal going to help him pick that one up. Great team play from ESG, and they're going to get bot lane as well. Sudden explosion of pressure. Chico moving into the mid lane, hoping for more. Ruck's actually jumping forward, but he may have overstayed. Not going to find the snare. ESG, I mean, they're making moves. They break the tower. They grab the kill.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting a lot out of this, and honestly, you look at the teams coming into today, not that ESG are on the same level in the standings that we were looking at with Mouse and G2V, but certainly K1ck would be expected to win this game, and ESG are coming out with a great start to the game. One issue I kind of feel... Whoa! Cedrian gets chunked down. There is still a fair amount of damage on the side of K1ck.
Yep, definitely. Going to use that Gragas wave clear as well. Mine was Chico in that distortion.
Speaking of the Gragas Waveclay, he's actually opted for the Runic Echoes in this game. He has not opted towards the Cinderhulk route that sometimes we will see a Gragas go, just to make himself super tanky, make himself very difficult to deal with. So we'll have to track exactly LeChase's build path as we go through this. I wonder whether that's going to be an Iceborne or Frozen Heart coming out. I would expect Frozen Heart into Kindred, into Gnar. Ezreal not so much,
yeah,
but
still gives
somewhat
that attack speed steroid over to the other two as well, so maybe important to consider. Of course, Iceborne may let them chase a little bit better. A lot of targets that are going to be hard to nail down on the opposite side.
Attack speed is nice to get a debuff on.
Hanout in trouble is just going to immediately pop the Unbreakable Will, but now K1ck just runs straight to the Dragon. They're happy to take that cooldown. Maybe looking to win the fight. You can see Ezreal's on the top side. No TP from him, of course. Now going to have to try to get that tower down as quickly as possible.
The difficulty of taking Mountain Drake.
All the time. Gnar coming up.
There's 3 people on this, and it's still taking this long.
We're going to get it. 1 or 2, maybe now. We're working on it, and gone. Finally going to grab that one. Of course, Trundle now on the top side to try to stop the Ezreal push, but K1ck grabbing a small advantage back. Still down 2K at 20 minutes. But the farm still pretty much in favor of ESG, as we see Megaphelix actually having to flash out here, respecting the K1ck from LeChase.
Yeah, just did not want to get blasted back by that. Meanwhile, topside Obvious is fishing around as Trucklax was trying to deny him another mark of the Kindred. It's Cedrian up there as well. ESG still making moves. TP is coming out on the top side. LeBlanc just TP'd up there to just defend the turret.
But mid lane is in trouble. It's still really low from that earlier push.
TP advantage, plus now the mid tower is exposed. Really weird TP out by Chico. He's now going to have to just run down. That is one of the least effective TPs I think we've seen.
Unfortunate from Chico. Obviously a very strong mechanical player, but maybe not making the best judgment there on that play overall. I want to talk a little bit about itemization, because I'm seeing some stuff that would have made sense on Karma mid a while ago, but with item changes, can we talk on Holy Grail? Why is there an Holy Grail?
We're looking at the Athenes. So, you obviously get that nice seesaw effect on the base mana, base health, which one's regenning faster, depending on what you've got. So I guess for Magifelix, he's like, well, it's going to give me health when I'm...
low health?
You know, low health mana when I'm low mana. All right. And obviously his kit's very good at giving him his health back, so it's pretty much always going to give him mana. So... I don't know, it's an interesting one. It's not an item that we've seen too much of at all. It does obviously still give him CDR, still gives him MR.
Yeah, and well, maybe not too eager now, as we're going to see some tower pressure, but remember that passive, the more damage he takes, the more he's going to be able to heal his allies as well as himself. Moving in, though. Looks at the fight coming in. TP on the backside. Great headbutt pulverized from Hanout. Ultimate comes in. Bones jumps in, but he doesn't have Mega Gnar. Rage starts to build up. He misses the catch back on the boomerang. An explosion of action, but no one has gone down quite yet. Ruck's low. LeChase is low as well. Full health bars on the side. Chico looking to change that, but he just takes some damage back in exchange. Kindred going to settle for a mark in the meantime, and ESG seem poised to take down this tower.
Yeah, and that was the point that really is one of the key things for this Unholy Grail here. You will get like an up to 205 right now addition on whether it's a heal or a shield or whatever comes out on the allies. So it's that 20% of the damage dealt to champions as blood charges. It's kind of a confusing one. There's a long set of things that Unholy Grail does right now, and we haven't really seen it utilized all that much in pro play.
At all, I would say. This is the first Unholy Grail. Moving in. Oh, Cedric. Oh my god, LeBlanc just chunking out the Ezreal. But courtesy of the blood charges and that karma damage output, Ezreal is going to heal up a decent amount. Yep. A little bit of that ruined by the Morellonomicon. We can see a lot of insanity here in the mid lane. The story continues. Pressure now in favor of K1ck Esports.
K1ck, however, do not have their AD carry with them, so pushing here is kind of difficult. You've got 3 melee champions and LeBlanc, who wants to dive, but the actual push is not amazing.
Over the wall, just knocking the health right out of Cedrion. Reduced healing, of course, in the meantime. They're going to take this opportunity to throw some autos down, but Ruck's not in position to block the True Shot Barrage.
And this is the problem here, is you've got 3 melee champions that are just going to run up to that turret, hit it once, if you're lucky, and then have to back away, because melee champions do not push towers when there are enemies behind them. That is like one of the fatal flaws that gets you engaged upon and killed. Even though Cedrion was pretty low health, still able to clear it out with his ultimate. So K1ck with just a little bit of a weird scenario here where they're like, well, let's push, but we don't have our AD carry. and their engage is kind of still here with the Alistair. So a bit of a strange one for K1ck, but it has been a strange game in general. K1ck not really playing the same as we've come to expect from them.
I think that's really been the story of the tournament. It's just inconsistency has plagued a lot of these teams, and right now, really working out well in ESG's favor. They are making great plays across the map, utilizing some interesting itemization choices here. And you can see Kindred has now picked up her 6th stack. Additionally, Baron now marked out for the potential 7th. And really everything on track for ESG to continue winning this game. They have the 4K gold lead as well.
Sivir opting for the Phantom Dancer here. So, I mean, there's not going to be too many situations. The Gnar jumping through and Obvious jumping through. I like what I'm looking at from that. Haddo as well. So there are things that she wants to block the damage from.
Oh. Chico making a look to trade. He's actually going to make it out of that one.
Nice.
I like it. The fancy footwork.
Yeah.
Secures the tower for the team.
So we have seen a bunch of Phantom Dance a second on Sivir. I just still prefer the other attack speed items as a second item. You can see where it serves its purpose.
Yeah, against the power of a champion like Kindred, obvious, you know, jumping in there, trying to duel you. Maybe the Ezreal wants to feel comfortable. The Gnar as well. Extra movement speed to get away from those boomerangs. Kind of a damage mitigation item built into that additional attack speed and crit. So clearly a very safe choice coming in from K1ck.
K1ck's like, oh, I don't want to die at all this game.
Can't say I blame him. Gnar, though, quick on the response. He's like, if you want to build more crit, you are going to slow down that attack speed. He is going to grab that Randwins for himself. This guy is near impossible to get away from. Little Gnar just going to hit you with the Black Cleaver, speed himself up. Big Gnar just going to slow you down with the Randwins.
And then just stomp all over you, headbutt you, throw you around, throw clocks at you.
Big old clock towers.
Unlike Zillion, who just throws watches.
Yeah. Little clockwork bombs. Not enough. Throw the whole tower, Zillion. That's what needed to happen. That's why you're not winning games in this tournament. So once again, Chico, target clearly painted on Cedrion's back. In this case, literally, as you see that flower on top of his head, but...
Super. At the risk of having a confusing discussion, where are we at on Drakes right now?
Oh, man.
Is it a cloud?
No. We got Ocean Mountain.
Ocean Mountain? There was no cloud?
Yeah, it was ESG with the sneaky Ocean and then Mountain.
Sneaky Ocean Mountain.
Yeah.
Mountain. Okay. Yes, because it's Mountain next. Okay, that's where we're at.
This is what the people live for, I think, when they tune in. They're like, we want to know what's going down. Oh my god, every time! Chico, he picks the targets, he makes it happen. A lot of damage coming in from the Ezreal. Haddo taking a decent amount back. There's the knock-up just on the Alistair. Obvious waiting in the wings, trying to make something happen, but Gnar and Trundle are duking it out on the top side. Pressure continuing to move forward. Mountain Drake, the next target, ESG, hoping to get one of their own. They ping that one out. Obvious, always hopping into the back of the pit. You can see that percentage health damage really paying off in addition to the Blood Razor. Not going to get a stack from this one, but still content to pick it up.
Big wave bot lane. Gnar was pushing top lane as well. Remember, Gnar still has a third of that cooldown on the Rift Herald buff, so nobody really wants to trade him. Trade against him, should I say.
Whenever you say a third of the cooldown, I always forget that a third of the cooldown is 6 minutes. Moving in, though. Haddo taking a lot of damage. We have to remember, no Unbreakable Will. Is going to have to break out the flash, and they're now moving to take down the tower. K1ck in a great spot to do this, but if they take too much damage, can they turn it around? Gnar in no position to TP, just continuing to bully out on the top side, and it looks like the tower is going to go down uncontested. Vision additionally dropping for K1ck, and things actually very even despite the difference in gold.
6 minutes 40, if my maths is correct.
Nice.
There's a third of the buff on that.
I like that.
Yeah. It's an obscure number, but keep that in mind.
It's a high number. I think that's what matters most for ESG right now.
That's like more than an old Dragon Spawn used to be. Or I guess current Dragon Spawn. I'm thinking of Elder Dragon and we're way too early.
That's a 10-minute buff. But that's 2 Elder Dragons.
Yeah. Oh no, not everything has to be in the way of dragons.
No. We can't communicate numbers anymore. We have to communicate in purely in spawn timers.
Baron,
that's 4 whole blue buffs. Of spawn timers.
Oh, I have lost it.
That's 10
today.
First blue buffs.
Numbers and maths.
We know we're getting off the track when they show us the Kevin Owl.
It's ocean, mountain, Sifa, okay? That's where we're at right now.
You know what's better than 1 Black Cleaver?
There's 2 in this game.
Yeah, there's 2. Not quite. We're maybe getting the 3rd. We can hope for it. We built our own memes, and now we're going to burn them into the ground. Let me make our best effort too. We can see though, ESG still very much the lead in terms of gold. Haven't been able to transition it into something greater.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew LeChase was going an Iceborne Gauntlet. I was like, it could be Frozen Heart. It would make sense. But he's gone Runic Echoes.
He wants the deeps.
He wants deeps. We'll see if he goes in deep at this point.
He wants to slow down the Ezreal too. That man is a nigh impossible to catch.
He's like, you've got an Iceborne Gauntlet. I've got an Iceborne Gauntlet.
See, k1ck moving in here on the bottom side, and I'm wondering why he's here, because I was under the impression that he could only combo Ezreal.
I don't think he can kill the GA now.
Really?
I'm just going to go out on a limb. He's going to try, apparently.
Not the split-pushing matchup we normally expect, LeBlanc versus Gnar. Phone's trying to hit something.
I mean, Gnar still has to damage. This is Chico.
This is the Dark Souls of matchup.
God.
This is Shadow of the Colossus, and let me tell you, that is not how the game ended. Moving in the fight, looking like it's not quite going to happen. No, we're jumping ahead. We're jump back in time. Bear with us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, spoiler moments coming out. We're moving in. We're moving forward. There's a fight in the mid lane, and suddenly it's 4-0 in favor of ESG. Of course, Ruck's going to drop there in the end. And unfortunately, playing a little bit of spoiler to ourselves, we know at least one more kill is on the way here from the side of ESG. This is it. We're back. Not going back to the future, folks. I can safely say that we're staying here right now.
But Chico just went 88 miles per hour into the respawn chamber because
that was
1v1.
It was straight up Dark Souls. Like you're fighting the giant boss, you're like, oh, as long as I keep dodging, I'll be fine. And then you miss one dodge and you immediately die. That's what that felt like.
That was exactly what that was. Like, I don't even know why he thought that was a good idea.
He doesn't have the damage. He doesn't have the mana. He would go through his mana pool before he killed that Gnar.
I don't get it. I don't get it, Sifa. Because I know, okay, so you could say, well, Gnar only has magic resist coming from his GA, which I'd be like, that's fine. He's Mega Gnar. He also gets magic resist from that too.
And health from Randuin's.
And
Black
damage
Cleaver.
reduction from the Rift Herald.
And more health from
And
turning
the
Mega
GA.
Gnar.
And a lot of damage.
A lot of things.
The damage that comes from it as well.
We got excited about the 1v1. We got excited about the time travel. Let's talk Baron. ESG have got it, and they've got a massive goal lead. They're pushing down mid. What do k1ck have to do here?
Pray, apparently. At this point, okay, so this was the fight that we had jumped to before we went 88 miles an hour. So we are going to watch it back, this time in completion. So, at this point, big ultimate from the Gragas. Just blast them
coming in.
Yeah.
Excellent ult coming in from Obvious. LeChase gets caught in the middle of the team. We can watch this one again. Phones, manages to TP into the fight too. This man is the MVP of the hour. Gets knocked down a little bit. Trundle's coming in on the backside, but the Mini Gnar is just unescapable. Flash over, looking to get the boomerang.
Just
and
so
Ruck's
strong. Hyper. Uppercut.
Absolutely crushing. Now moving in. 5-0 as we move forward.
5-0, and we found out my play-by-play on fights we haven't seen is not spectacular right now. It's 4th game in.
What? I mean, I thought we were talking about that like a replay, not
we
like a fight.
But then I was like, we haven't seen this, and I figured I'd try, and then I was just like, no, I'm going to leave it to you.
I'm sorry, I don't know what to do in case of time travel. You're going to have
in case of time travel, fish custard?
I love it. Wait. Moving in, ESG continue to apply pressure.
Ooh, Kepe.
That's not going to be the 6th kill. We're going to see it. It's going to happen.
Now you're just guessing which
Spell
one
shield?
it's going to be.
I think it's going to be the Ezreal ult that's about to pop out right now.
You think so?
I think so.
You think so?
I think it's going to E back, and it's just going to be like,
oh, no, Siva's on the platform already.
You're right.
Now's pushing top lane. Nobody can duel him.
We find ourselves in a unique situation.
Nobody can duel that Gnar at this point. It's going to take multiple people.
Yeah, Glimpse of the Void and the Void buff from Baron. This is the voidiest Gnar we will ever see, and Phones is just going to be able to burn through this tower as we push forward.
Glimpse of the Void still isn't off him yet.
No.
Still, like,
no.
Just under a minute, I think, looking at that. In fact, maybe more than a minute.
Moving forward, though. Sivir doing a great job of clearing out the waves. This is one of her big strengths. Rom ult being blocked up. They're moving to dive here. Tower's getting burned down. Chico jumping in. Gonna get knocked back here. Comes in, moving forward, looking to get something greater. So many low health bars. ESG just going to back it up. Sivir making sure to kill that last empowered cannon creep. Taking this opportunity to back up. You can see the health just healing up. Dragon is live and available, but the focus remains here on the top lane inhibitor tower. Chico maybe wanting a bit of vengeance. Still not dishing out the damage necessary there. Just a matter of time till the
Tower
tower
is dying.
falls. In goes Turklex. Kick's moving in, but Rux is so low. He's going to get dropped. Not quite. Lamb's respite comes in. Phones knocks him back into the team. Rux still alive. Phones trying to make it out. His Narbar's ticking down, but he's going to live as Obvious manages to grab the kill on a Trundle. Shiko hops in, hoping to get one back, but ESG have exposed the inhibitor, and they're moving into the base.
Moving. Oh, Shiko still wants some of this. Rux is here, but it's not going to be enough. Phones just TP'd back in.
My God. Moving forward, ESG taking the first inhibitor, 33 minutes in, 6-0, 8K gold lead. It seems like we wanted to end the group stage in the most dominating fashion possible because K1ck look absolutely lost. Mouse absolutely crushed the opposition, and everything seems to be up in the air here.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of a weird TP by Phones. Don't think he actually needed to at that point. Uses his TP for nothing. But still, the lead that ESG have right now over K1ck. What is happening today, Sifa? Because the three non-favored teams are about to take the win.
And we're seeing right now when the pressure is on, who comes out on top. Because we have to remember, they're fighting for a spot in the finals here. Whoever loses here is out.
Yeah.
If ESG win this, they actually advance as the first seed. Because they will be tied with Forge and they own the head-to-head. First seed. First seed. 4G. Or rather, ESG. I mean, this is huge for them. Elder Dragon next on the way. You can see the Mountain Drakian moving forward. You can see them clearing out the Scuttle Crab here as well, and Gnar now pushing out the bottom side of the map.
So, this game is teetering on the brink of knocking K1ck out. And, man, at this point, for ESG, you've got to feel, though, at the same time, they're going to get very antsy about closing this one out. The good thing for ESG, though, is Shiko just has not been able to do anything this game at all. And we're really into the point where a LeBlanc without kills really struggles. Not even level 16 yet, doesn't have access to tier 3 ult. Ezreal ult comes through.
This is where we are. We're finally back to the future.
But look at top lane. Top lane is pushing in now from the super minions. LeBlanc goes to the mid lane. This now gives ESG the ability to dive into the bottom lane if they wanted to. They can just chip it down at the same time.
Oh, Obvi's caught out here a little bit, though, by the tower. Not going to be any further diving in. And Phones, he's threatening with that Mega Gnar. Soul Flare coming out.
Tower's down.
Hat out, moving forward. They are just going to back off. Tower drops. ESG moving in.
Shiko can't clear enough on his own right now. He's trying desperately to do it, but it's leaving such a gap in the bottom lane. The K1ck are in real danger of losing a second inhib tower right now.
Of course, their continued pressure. And I want to apologize to the audience real quick. I misspoke. ESG will actually be the second seed if they win out here. 4G does own the head-to-head in that three-way tie against both of the teams. That would be both the other teams would be in the three-way tie. We're getting caught up in tiebreakers here a little bit, but once again, we'll break it down at the end.
LeBlanc even opting for the Luden's Echo. Got to get that wave clear, man. At this point,
get something. She is running around a lot.
Kills.
She's stacking it pretty good. Unfortunate for Shiko.
Silver lining.
We finally get his name right, and it's just not.
Maybe that was it. Maybe it's
the
like
power of Zico.
Is it is it Samson with the hair, and when he loses his hair, he loses his power?
Oh, I don't remember.
I'm not very good on biblical tales, I must admit. I'm
going to be honest, I was like, what Marvel comic is that?
That is way more me.
I was like, oh man.
That
I feel
is
bad
way
for not
more
If
me.
it's biblical, I'm okay not getting it. But
that's fine.
Yeah.
That is way more me for it to be Marvel comics, though. You are completely right.
We'll have to see. I feel so bad. I don't feel bad at all about missing that reference now. All right.
Fine.
Moving forward, of course, you can see the itemization heavily stacked in the favor of ESG, but the members of K1ck stacked in this bush and had out the front runner. Just going to use that ultimate. Disengage, comes out from Rux, only going to hit a couple. Phones, smacks him back into the wall. Truckslacks trying to duel out here, stealing what resistances he can. Boomerang Blade comes across the team, and ESG are pushing into the base. They have advantage. Rux is down. The minion wave is behind them. Sivir trying to clear out, but Obvious, Magic Felix, and the team may be able to move in. Cedrion, no hesitation. He knows he can take the duel. Obvious can take the kill. And they're moving in to break the second inhibitor. Beautiful play from ESG.
Tower going down. ESG still have supers pushing in from the top lane. Knock up on LeChase.
Moving in. They want it. LeChase, is he going to drop one more stack? Kindred, move forward. Grab it. One more stack. one more kill, moving in to take it. The ace comes in for ESG. They find the win, and they're gonna make it to playoffs. K1ck are eliminated. German teams everywhere can be proud. The regional league showing up strong.
It has been a crazy day today, Sifa. I mean, all 3 Group B games, we were like, okay, well, this should be easy for these teams. But ESG following suit with G2V, I mean, man, that's...
Absolutely.
And it was a big win. But ESG looking very, very strong.
This was insane. And I gotta say, I really didn't expect Athene's Unholy Grail to be like a great item. I was like, it's either gonna be crazy strong or it's never gonna see play. And it actually did a lot of work in that mid game. It kept healing people up. Karma throws out the poke, starts to pressure you down. You want to respond with any damage, she's just gonna heal it up. Not only does she have the Inspire shield, but she'd shield from that initial damage, and then you'd gain health back from those blood charges being dispensed. So,
but I mean,
really cool.
You got to look at picks and bans as well. Is like K1ck draft a composition that we haven't really seen too much from them, and then on the other side, ESG. Obvious gets the Kindred. We didn't touch on it much in game. We talked about it coming into this. That's been his pick. It's like Obvious has carried the game, and lo and behold, low kill game, 11 kills to 0, 6 kills onto the Kindred, 3 assists, involved in almost all of them.
And really, when it comes down to it, I mean, Obvious was playing insanely well.
Yeah.
Getting stacks consistently. Lamb's Respite was exactly where it needed to be in multiple fights. And it felt like their team fighting power and coordination was on almost another level this game. And it felt like they snuck the first objective of the Dragon. But then once Phones felt confident to dive in on that Trundle, they immediately transitioned into Rift Herald. And K1ck makes some good moves to take that tower back. But once that Rift Herald's in the hands of Gnar, it just feels like you instantly have to do something to end the game, because you're not going to stop that guy from splitting.
You have to commit multiple people to him, just time and time again, and that soaks up resources, makes him too big of an issue to deal with. So until we see somebody really figure out that in the matchups where we see like a Gnar and a Trundle and actually deny the Rift Herald, that might be a pick to keep your eyes on, just to dominate that 1v1 and be able to just cause so much of a problem.
Yeah, overall, I think Group B, both groups have been insane. Group A started out so explosively with such strong contenders, and then everything turned upside down. And then Group B was just all over the place all the time. And like finally someone comes to the top, right? Finally someone gets on top of this dog pile. Someone is king of the mountain in the end, but it's chaotic. And I'm really excited to see how these guys match up against each other in terms of our finals. But let's actually move over to take a look at the final standings for here in the group stage, because it's pretty crazy. We'll start with Group A. You can see Misfits are at the top, uncontested at 4-1. SK are going to be moving in on that 3-2, as well as LP on the 3-2. But because SK own the head-to-head, they are going to be the second seed coming out of Group A.
Yeah, exactly. Keep in mind, it is only the top 2 teams that advance. And as you mentioned, the head-to-head in their game from earlier today puts SK as the second seed from Group A. Let's find out who they'll be facing over in Group B. We've just wrapped up all of the action. So 4G right now, 3-2. ESG 3-2 and K1ck 3-2, but because of the head-to-head records, it puts 4G and ESG through in first and second seed respectively.
K1ck, of course, beating out Mouse, Chef 6, and G2, but it's not enough because the teams that emerged at the top are the ones that they were unable to defeat. So those tiebreakers, or rather those head-to-heads, really not working out in their favor.
Crucial, though, to separate those ties. When you isolate them, look at who beat who in those small little groups, and that gave us eventually the seeds to look at our finals. And, you know, those finals, everybody's got to remember, tune in on Friday for the Challenger Series qualifier finals. It's going to be Misfits versus ESG as our first semifinal, and second semifinal is going to be 4G versus SK.
Yeah, and of course we went from 12 teams now down to 4, and only 2 can advance. We're going to have to see who can make it. I think these are both going to be kind of crazy matches in terms of, you know, who. I just don't even know what to expect. We're going from best of 1s to best of 5, and there's so much pressure on both these teams to come out, and it's like, this is it. It's all or nothing for all these squads.
So much pressure, but you know, the pressure just on the road for the rest of the split is on for every team here in Europe. If you missed any of the VODs, if you missed the you know, any of the articles that have come out, The schedule for LCS, which starts next week. All of this, all of the pressure on the Road to Worlds can be found on lolesports.com. You can find everything. Get over there, watch VODs, get ready for the finals, get ready for LCS next week.
And of course, that is the final game of the group stage. We're going to take a day off. We'll be back on Friday. But on behalf of myself, my fellow casters, and of course the broadcast team, thank you so much for watching. And we will see you back here for the finals to figure out who will play in the Summer Challenger Series.